from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Central Equatorial State Security Committee has called for calm following the incursion by the Ugandan People's Defense Forces in Kajukeji County earlier this week. South Sudan's Minister of Peacebuilding has warned that poor land governance and the politicization of land policy could fuel future conflict, urging authorities and communities to treat land management as a critical peacebuilding tool. And the Electoral Committee of the South Sudan Football Federation will today unveil the preliminary list of candidates nominated for key leadership positions. This is stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The Central Equatorial State Security Committee has called for calm following the incursion by the Ugandan People's Defense Forces in Kajukeji County earlier this week. The appeal was made during the committee's weekly meeting chaired by Governor Lieutenant General Rabi Mujung Emmanuel. Speaking to the media, Acting Minister of Information and Communication Jacob Aligololadu said the state government is closely coordinating with national authorities to address the incident and respond accordingly. At least 5 South Sudanese servicemen were killed in the attack on Tuesday, with thousands of civilians displaced. The committee also reviewed the broader security situation across the state. While the overall environment remains generally calm, Honorable Aligo noted that isolated security incidents continue to be reported in Morobo and Yei River counties. He warned that the activities of armed all-out groups remain a threat to civilians and travelers, particularly along major roads. In addition, the minister noted that the state continues to register incidents of criminal activity, stating that there is need for vigilance and strong law enforcement measures. South Sudan's Minister of Peacebuilding has warned that the politicization of land policy could fuel conflict, while urging authorities and communities to treat land management as a critical peacebuilding tool. Speaking during a public lecture on land administration at the University of Juba on Tuesday, Pierre Philippe called for inclusive, transparent and culturally grounded system of land governance, stressing that land lies at the heart of both conflict and peace in South Sudan. The event, organized by the International Organization for Migration, brought together academics, policy makers, students and international partners for an open discussion on land-related challenges in South Sudan. The minister said that land rights must be respected for all citizens, including vulnerable groups. He criticized customs that deny widows access to land, questioning whether such practices are still appropriate in today's context. According to Minister Philip, proper land governance can prevent disputes, promote social cohesion and contribute to national stability, but only if policies are inclusive and free from political manipulation. He said, and I quote, "We must not politicize land. If we do, we are setting a bad precedent for our children. But if we manage land transparently and honestly, it becomes a peace-building tool for generations." End quote. The minister also called for stronger legal frameworks anchored on both statutory and customary law, as well as open dialogue and community ownership of land policy to ensure long-term peace. The Electoral Committee of the South Sudan Football Federation will today unveil the preliminary list of candidates nominated for key leadership positions. These include the President of the Federation, the first Vice President, the second Vice President, and the members of the Executive Committee. The committee will also publish the official list of delegates eligible to vote in the upcoming elections, which will decide the Federation's leadership for the 2025-2029 term. The announcements will be made during a press conference scheduled for noon at the South Sudan Football Federation headquarters in Juba. Early this month, the South Sudan Football Federation Electoral Committee officially announced August 15, 2025 as the date for the Federation's presidential elections. Last week, the Electoral Committee screened the eligibility of the aspiring candidates. This is iRadio Morning News. And now to the international scene. Angola Interior Minister Manuel Homem has said at least 22 people, including a police officer, have been killed and 200 others injured in protest against a rise in the price of fuel that began on Monday. Police say more than 1,200 people have also been arrested in what began as a strike by taxi drivers against the price hike and then escalated into one of the most widespread and disruptive waves of protests the country has seen in recent years. Businesses, including major supermarkets, remain closed and many people have opted to stay at home. Doctors at public hospitals in the capital Luanda, who asked not to be named, told the BBC emergency services had been overwhelmed over the last 24 hours. And Tanzania has barred foreign nationals from owning and operating mainly small-scale businesses, sparking concern and a backlash from neighboring Kenya. The new directive prohibits them from 15 sectors, including mobile money transfers, tour guiding, small-scale mining, on-farm crop buying, beauty salons, curio shops, and establishing radio and TV operations. Trade Minister Selemani Jafo explained that foreigners had increasingly become involved in the informal sector and areas better filled by Tanzanians. Locally, the move has generally been welcomed amid growing concerns that foreigners, including Chinese nationals, have been encroaching on smaller trades. This is iRadio Morning News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. The Central Equatorial State Security Committee has called for calm following the incursion by the Uganda People's Defense Forces in Kajukeji County earlier this week. South Sudan's Minister of Peace Building has warned that poor land governance and the politicization of land policy could fuel future conflict, urging authorities and communities to treat land management as a critical peace-building tool. And the Electoral Committee of the South Sudan Football Federation will today unveil the preliminary list of candidates nominated for key leadership positions. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I am Lasuba Memo. Thanks for listening.